let's get into it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Everyone's talking about it right now. Figured I'd throw my take out there. Now, I love this show. This thing is amazing. It is covering topics that I never would have expected a conglomerate like Disney to cover. Racism in America? Who knew? For me, though, I'm a veteran. So its portrayal of veteran treatment in America is, that's pretty poignant to me. And it's nice to see media actually portray just how negative it really is. Because all of these movies always like to talk about the glory of war and conflict and all this other crap. And yeah, we watch the movies and it's fun, but nobody's sort of like, oh yeah, when you come back, nobody's gonna give a shit about you, like, at all. You're gonna get back, you're gonna have a lot of injuries that even the military's not gonna want to acknowledge, you're gonna be treated like shit, jumped out of the military like it's a gang if you choose to not stay in, and then you've gotta fight the VA like it's a fucking Dark Souls boss. Like, constantly. To get any kind of compensation or treatment. Alright? So, when they had that scene with the therapist treating Bucky like a fucking third-class citizen, 100% true. Like, oh, it's like, you're mandated to do this stuff. Like, yeah, exactly. I literally had flashbacks of when I was dealing with my psychiatrist when I moved here from when I was up in Alaska. Literally took me off my meds. Like, I was medicated for my ADD, and I was doing fine. I was getting shit done. I was styling. And then I come down here, and what you know it, I'm sorry, you no longer qualify for that because we have different qualifications. Like, literally said that I did not, said that I didn't meet the requirements for that diagnosis, which is weird considering it was the VA up there that told me I qualified. Same organization. Where's the mix-up? It's on my documentation, like, from the Veterans Affairs, saying that it was service connected, and yet he's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna give it to you. And even that, I would give it to him, since there apparently is, like, an issue with narcotics in this area. I'm like, okay, fine, red tape it. The very least they could have done is a more thorough and in-depth evaluation to ensure that I had coverage. It's like, okay, if I don't meet the criteria, then just do some more tests, like your test, to make sure that I meet the criteria here so that I can get my medication. Wasn't even on the table. It's basically, no, fuck you, go away. Try harder. Something that everyone loves to tell people with ADD. Just try harder. And for 4 years, I spiraled into the darkest depression I've ever been in. Yeah, I kind of relate to Bucky a little bit. But yeah, that's it. That's my relating to the material. It definitely felt pretty real, and it is nice to see. It is nice to see it represented accurately and negatively. I mean, like, how dare you portray the American government or military in a negative light? They should. It happens. People need to see that we're not taken care of after the dust settles. And I see a lot of other veterans on, like, TikTok and YouTube who watch this just pumping their fists going like, oh my god, bitch, yeah! Like, that's exactly how it is. And it's cathartic. It pisses you off, but it's still cathartic to see, like, yes, I get that. The funny thing is, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is not the first Marvel property to cover this. It's great, and I love it, and it's there, and I'm gonna watch some more of it, especially with sassy Zemo. Fucking. But one of the best Marvel series to ever freaking be made covered a lot of this stuff too, and it was The Punisher. I mean, I still maintain that the Daredevil on Netflix is hands down the best Marvel property made so far, and I'll die on that hill. And they brought in the Punisher on that, and then they offshot it onto its own series, and that was the character. I mean, like, when you think of the Punisher now, it's John Bernthal, and they did an excellent job of showing how that character should be, and they covered what that character's supposed to do. And the great thing about that show is they showed so many aspects of being a veteran and the government and all of that years ago. I mean, the primary aspect of the Punisher is his PTSD and how it affects his decision making and who he is as a person, and how he constantly relives that trauma and takes it out on terrible people. But they also, explore aspects of personality that he's not necessarily a good guy, like, or maybe not a hero. Like, in his core as a person, all of his allies know that he is a good man trying to do good in this world, but he's not necessarily a hero. Like, he is breaking the law. He's a vigilante. He is a loose cannon. He is dangerous. But they never necessarily want to stop him because he's doing the things no one else can do, which makes him, like, morally gray. Like, everyone has a reason to kill him. Everyone has a reason to stop him and arrest him, and they'd be 100% justified. But all the people who don't do it, they also have an ethical reason not to. And they completely justify both of those opinions, both of those ethical quandaries in both seasons. And I appreciate that, because that's his character. Because unlike Batman is, like, not having a no-kill rule, like, you can understand, like, why don't they arrest Batman? It's like, he doesn't kill anyone. He gathers evidence. He gives it to the police. He does his best to stay within the confines of, whatever loose judicial rules they have in comic books. You don't have that with the Punisher. He shows up, like the Snyder Batman, and just murders everyone. He's pretty good about vetting who's good and bad, but, like, his justice is they take a dirt nap. He drops bodies and they don't get to hurt anyone else. So you have to explore the ethical consequences of a character who does that, and have them come out and still be a good protagonist and not a complete lunatic. Other things they cover in that show was how the media weaponizes veterans. Group therapy. I mean, the entire first season, like, the character arc for the Punisher was how he was completely on his own and not dealing with his trauma, and then by the time he takes out the bad guys, deals with his shit, it ends with him actually joining the group therapy group with his best friend. Like, actually talking out his shit and dealing with it, instead of just going like, I'm gonna go hurt someone. Which, yeah, homie, that's not healthy. Like, men really need to go to therapy more. And the fact that they got Frank fucking Castle to go to therapy, I'm like, thank you for portraying that on film. Go to therapy. God damn it. And yeah, long story short, they do a good job of portraying a lot of those veteran issues in that show as well. And I think it does not get the same following because it's not MCU. And it should. It's an excellent show. And it covers a lot of these same things that people are lauding about the the Three's Company reboot of, Zemo, Bucky, and Sam. They've done it before, and they're doing it again now, but I think people should revisit that show and realize that, fuck it. Now that I'm thinking about it, they covered gun laws. Like, how, like, the whole good guy with a gun, bad guy with a gun, mass shooter issue, and domestic terrorism, and white nationalism. So much shit was covered in that show. like, the amount of politics they covered was kind of staggering now that I'm thinking about it. It's a good show. You should go watch it.